Rayman 2 has one massive standout level that feels so out of place in the game, and people either love it or hate it for that fact. So check this out. So as you probably know by now, Rayman 2, the incredible masterpiece from 1999, is structured in a simple level by level way. What I mean by that is that you start a level, you complete it, and you move on to the next level. There's basically no backtracking or real large areas to explore, unless of course you're playing Rayman Revolution, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus more on the most common, most played versions of Rayman. Of course you do backtrack through the Marshes of Awakening to get to the Cave of Bad Dreams, but that is still very much a level by level thing, with just the entrance to the Cave of Bad Dreams being in the Marshes of Awakening rather than the level select screen. And by backtracking through the Marshes of Awakening, you literally just... It's the other way to go when you start the level, it's not really backtracking. Anyway, this is then broken up into 4 main acts, each one ended by a sanctuary of the different elements, resulting in the collection of a mask furthering Rayman's journey. These are the Sanctuary of Water and Ice, Stone and Fire, Rock and Lava, and then the Iron Hills, I guess. The final act is a bit different. It doesn't really end when you get the last mask, rather it just kicks you into the final battle on the ship. But that is all irrelevant anyway, because right now I want to talk about the middle of the 3 sanctuaries. In case you hadn't clocked this from the first part of the video, or have never played the game before, it is the Sanctuary of Stone and Fire that often finds itself at the forefront of conversations about the best or worst levels in the game. One could say this is the most polarising level in Rayman 2, or the most controversial. Cue titles. Good lord, what's that? Is that a YouTuber asking you to subscribe? Ha! I wouldn't listen to him. But if you do listen to him, it might be worth your time. Anyway, oh look at that, he's gone. Back to the video. The Sanctuary of Stone and Fire takes place after the game ramps up in difficulty. I'm not saying it gets ridiculous, but the canopy is certainly a step up in difficulty than we'd had before. This level starts pretty normally with a large helicopter hair glide down into a lava-filled ravine. Very, very cool. And then a fight with a pirate. I mean, it doesn't really get much cooler than that, except for like, you know, dinosaurs and sex. But very quickly it becomes clear that there are quite a few places to go from here. There are a couple of exits visible in the main area and a cage hidden behind what seems to be an entirely inaccessible area. And then you get to the plum. Oh, the plum, the iconic plum. Don't ask me how, but in this game plums are enormous, particularly bouncy, waterproof and fireproof. They're also durable enough to take a hard punch, but not too tough to avoid getting punctured when thrown at someone's head. So you know, it's not really a plum. It's more like a tumour if you think about it. Anyway, you then bounce around on the terminal lump and it becomes clear that this level is big. For pretty much the first time in the game, there is an area of sizable backtracking. I don't just mean backtracking in the sense that if you missed a lum you go back to get it. I mean that in order to get to an area, you must get to a certain point later in said level, and then go back to it. I like this. I'm not a huge fan of forced backtracking, as I do think this messes with the pacing of the game, and as someone who likes to complete things straight away, it annoys me when like half the level is inaccessible. It's kind of why I massively prefer Banjo-Kazooie to Banjo-Tooie. It's just a preference thing, but you know what? Here, it really works well. It's all optional, of course, so you don't have to go back to the starting area to get this cage, unless you want to 100% it. After this, some more areas start to become apparent, and if you explore it all, you'll find yourself taking upwards of 10 minutes just to get past the first segment of the level. It's a big one for sure. I mean, some levels take 10 minutes total, and this is just the first segment. However, after that, you enter the second main segment of the level. Here you have a big old river of lava and a tumour. And a plum. Do you get it? Do you get the joke? I called Murphy a tumour. Anyway, the sensible thing to do would be to get on the plum and travel downstream. You know, the way the level tells you. But wait, you can go up if you want. And if you do, you come across one of the most unique areas in all of Rayman 2. Not that it does anything especially unique in itself, it's just that you discover an entirely optional temple in this area. By optional, I very much do mean optional. There are lums and cages, sure, but not nearly enough to warrant needing to go here to beat the game. Again, a completionist will want to explore this area, but in order to beat the level, there is absolutely no need at all. This area, if you don't know it well, can take a long time to fully explore and beat. While being somewhat linear, this optional temple, like the rest of the level to be fair, does a great job at seeming large and open. At times, this temple can actually feel a little overwhelming. Well, I say overwhelming, it is Rayman 2, rated 3 and up, but you get what I mean. This area contains some fun and challenging platforming segments. I'd say the hardest yet, but to be honest, none of it is really out of place in this level, due to this level already being the hardest one yet. These lava-filled areas are great, and it's pretty nuts to think of how much time must have gone into this stuff, only for it to be optional and missed by probably a lot of people. I say only, I mean it does actually make sense that this is one of my favourite levels, simply because this part is optional. You know, it makes the whole sanctuary feel much grander in scale and scope. That said, I do wonder if this was part of a different level that got scrapped late in development. There's even a fun little area with 3 doors you can hit to open with different things behind them, one of which being that fucking spider. But alas, that was not the worst part. In arguably the hardest part of the entire game, this optional temple ends with a walking shell segment that is so infuriatingly hard it makes me want to cut my scrotum into segments, stretch it out and pitch a tent with it around Glowbox while making him dance for money. No, in case you were wondering, I don't like this bit. It's not even the difficulty of the level design that gets to me, it's the fact that the damn thing doesn't work. For some reason at random points on the loop-de-loop this bloody shell blows up. Or when doing a jump, or the gravity physics go funky and you take a headfirst slide into a wall. It's annoying and ruins the end of a really great section in this level, unfortunately. Anyway, following this, you make your way back down the lava river and continue on as intended, fight a pirate, climb some stuff and get locked in a room with Mike Wazowski's Christian cousin Mike Pence. Yeah, I don't know why this room has a monster from the Cave of Bad Dreams in it, but whatever. This fun-ish gameplay mechanic doesn't really show up a lot. And for a level already brimming with enough ideas to suffocate a horny Wall Street slime ball, you'd think this was an odd inclusion, because, well, you know, it is. I'm not complaining, it's just, why? I actually feel like there's a missed opportunity in this room for there to be more secrets, you know, lums, cages, whatever. Again, not a complaint, I adore this whole level, but it's just something that would have been cool. After you take down Pence and use his remaining tumour as a bouncy ball, you get to one of my favourite bits in the entire game. A lot of my favourite bits in the entire game are in this level, funnily enough. It's just a vibey moment, but I love seeing the outside for the first time in a while. You know, like an incel coming up from the cellar to get milk, and you see the sun through the window. It's a very sad life I live. It's cool, it's refreshing. It's a reminder of how big Rayman's journey through this sanctuary has been. And as you make your way to the open vista ahead, bang! You fall. Again, it's just such a fun thing to have in the game, and this moment of quiet makes for a really good atmosphere. Falling down the hole, you come across yet another fiery area to jump around on a plumb in. This time there are some mustard coloured pits to avoid. I still don't know what the yellow hazard is, so I'm going to go with mustard. Anyway, you have a couple of tough obstacles, a good jump, and a mini checkpoint. From here you can go one of 2 ways. The way that looks like a secret passage, or the way that, well, doesn't. Anyway, in the main boss room you activate the 2 mini pyramids. I don't know what the fuck this game is about, to be honest. And the boss of the Sanctuary of the Stone and the Fire activates, and he's not a boss. No, Umber is nothing more than a scrawny Lord of the Rings character after losing his precious artifact. He's a suicidal golem. Yeah, no, he's not a boss fight. You stand on him, he walks into the lava, you jump off, level over. It's a really strange sort of boss level end of act thing, in my opinion. I mean, I love it, but it's a very strange level. Like I said before, the first and third sanctuaries both have a fairly solid structure. Straightforward level with a fun new gameplay gimmick added, then a standard boss fight. But this one, not only is it the longest level in the game by an extreme margin, but it's a huge, surprisingly open level with no real boss fight, and about 300 ideas thrown in all at once. I love every second of it, apart from that arsehole of a shell section. It's just such a great mid-game bash and a reminder of what a full-size 3D platforming level could be like after a few smaller levels prior and afterwards. I think the Sanctuary of Stone and Fire is Rayman 2 at its absolute best, with some of the nastiest visuals, best music, difficult yet fair platforming, and intricate level design. Truly a level for the ages. I always love the sanctuaries whenever I replay the game. In fact, they're the bits I'm usually most excited for, but this one, man, it is something else. I'm kinda glad there are no other levels like it, because it makes this one more special to me. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's a great level in a great game, and that's all there is to it. I just wanted to talk about it for a bit. My videos have kind of fallen into a routine of either ranking or listing something, or simply just talking about recent Rayman events, and quite frankly, depressingly, there are fucking none right now. And to be honest, my favourite style of video that I make are the ones where I just talk about something I like. It started with my second video, you know, the Rayman Origins time trial one, so I just wanted to gush about one of my favourite things about Rayman 2, and since I replayed it very recently for the big level ranking video, which is coming, I promise, I figured this was a good time to go over this level in a little bit more depth. Thanks for watching, be sure to subscribe, check out my other videos and join the Discord if you haven't already. I've finally finished moving house, so I should be able to upload more videos soon. We'll see. Anyway, stay limbless, stay awesome, and I will see you in the next one.